And we're back. Oh my gosh. I haven't shot a video in like forever, like literally forever. All the videos that you've seen, they've been pre-recorded by so long. We're in the middle of testing season. Actually, I'm almost done right now, but I was in the middle of testing season and that was it wasn't fun, but we're back and we're back with a very good video by our favorite Adam Neely. And today we're talking about the BPM band. And if you don't know what BPM is, it's beats per minute. That's what it is. And it's essentially the speed of the song. And if you just think about that for a second. They're not banning songs, they're banning certain speeds of songs. And I thought this was so insane. Like, it's laughably crazy. And I would protest this with my knees on the ground and my fists up with a gun to my head. I would protest this because this is absolutely insane. And so much music is just absolutely dissipated from this. And luckily for us, it's nowhere near the US. But if anyone is living in that region, I'm so sorry for you. But if you don't comprehend how crazy this is because you're not a musician and BPM is just another word for you with numbers, let's take a look at this, right? The average tempo of trap music, 140 beats per minute. They're banning from 80 beats per minute to 116 beats per minute, which is really specific, by the way. 116, why not 117, 118? We have rock music, 120 beats per minute. Outside of the range, no more rock. Average jazz music. Now this one has a large range, obviously, but gone, no more jazz. Now I don't understand why this would ever happen, why you would ban super slow music, or why you would ban super fast music, or why you would set it at 116 beats per minute, or why or how you would even enforce that. I'm so confused. What? And also, it's such a broad term, beats per minute. You can count anything, anything you want. And also, how are the people supposed to know that? Like, normal people. This is just so perplexing, but it's so interesting. So obviously we have to watch this video.
Chechnya has recently banned all music slower than 80 beats per minute and faster than 116 beats per minute. This anyway from a recent decree from Chechnya's cultural ministry. Now this might be a little embarrassing for the Chechnyan cultural minister because the official recording of Russia's national anthem is slower than that.
You cannot be serious. You genuinely cannot be serious. This is... Okay.
At 76 beats per minute. Chechnya's own national anthem is also slower than this at 78 beats per minute. And
what? Okay.
Perhaps my favorite is that the music that can be found on the official announcement video.
Look at me dead in my face and tell me these people weren't trolling. I don't believe it. There's no way. Okay.
Declaring this policy on Chechnya Cultural Ministry's Telegram, that music is also slower. It's also at 78 beats per minute. God, I love that. The way that this whole thing was reported in the Western press was that Chechnya's cultural ministry banned music that was either too fast or too slow, which is kind of true, but the way that music cognition, or the way that our brains perceive tempo, and Chechen dance music specifically interact is a little bit more complicated than that.
My name's Lee Van Handel. I'm Associate Professor of Music Theory and Music Cognition at the University of British Columbia.
I asked Dr. Van Handel why this tempo range of 80 to 116 beats per minute might be considered not too fast or not too slow.
Okay.
There's been a lot of studies about things like spontaneous motor tempo, where if you just ask somebody to tap at a comfortable tapping rate, they tend to tap around 100 beats per minute. It's the region of what we call maximal pulse salience. So we're most likely to start hearing a regularly recurring pulse within those windows as a beat unit.
So it would seem anyway that the Chechnyan government just wants people to listen to music within this Goldilocks zone that's neither too fast nor too slow. But the problem with that is that Chechnyan dance music is in fact extremely fast. There's this very popular dance in Chechnya and the general North Caucasian region called the lezginka. Now you can think of the lezginka as a dance in 6/8, where there are 6/8 notes with an accent on the first and the fourth eighth note, creating two pairs of 3/8 notes apiece.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the dance typically happens way faster than that.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. Wait, what? Wait, then how did they ever come to the conclusion? How does your own culture's music defy your laws? Like, what was the intention? That's not even close to outside. That's completely outside. So far, I haven't found any music related to this that is within the bounds of the legal limit. Imagine that. Imagine you're bumping. You're in the car, right? You're in the car. You're bumping your favorite song, right? Do you have the time to listen to me about nothing? We will. Sir, what's that song you were just playing? Can you play that again? Sometimes I give myself the craze. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to step up. Oh my gosh. You're playing like 300 beats per minute jazz, some bebop stuff, and like, yeah, I'm gonna need backup for this one. Oh my god. It's just so dumb. I'm sorry.
That's insane. It's like they're dancing to Yngwie Malmsteen licks, like descending sequences in groups of 3, but just shredding so fast. I can't do it. So if we were to assign a BPM to this, this would actually be 240 beats per minute. But later on, the kick drum comes in, and then the kick drum is playing at half that rate. So check it out. In that case, we'd say that the pulse is being felt in halftime at 120 beats per minute.
Yeah.
Still technically illegal, but that's okay.
Illegal.
You can see Kadroyev, the current leader of Chechnya, dancing the lezginka in this video right here.
The
so
leader.
Presumably this dance would be okay with the Chechnyan Cultural Ministry. I played this recording to Dr. Van Handel to see how she might react to this pulse.
Yeah. Once it regularizes it there, before I was having double time. Yeah. Pulse becomes fast enough. It actually stops being the pulse and it starts being a subdivision. It stops being that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's actually different levels of pulse salience that are going on. And the reason we talk about around 100 beats per minute as being that maximal pulse salience is because that's where it's most comfortable for us.
You can actually see these different levels of pulse salience in action when you're watching videos of people clapping along to the lezginka on YouTube. Some people clap at the double time, some people clap at the half time. 2 different ways of interacting with the same music.
Because it's a perceptual phenomenon, it can be different for different people.
The lezginka is a really fast dance, way faster than house and techno music, but it's usually felt at the halftime, which better fits our brain's preferred tempo, and also this 80 to 116 BPM range, effectively making Kavkaz music from that region, so fast that it becomes slow again.
So if something is 160 beats per minute, if they can make an argument that it's really only half that then and it's actually 80 beats per minute, then they're good. They're in the sweet spot.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Music can be counted in so many different ways that it doesn't even make sense to have a law like this, because you could kind of take anything and you could make up accounting for it to fit within 80 to 116, just depending on how you count it. Like if I had a favorite song and it was outside of this, I might write it in a new time signature, find a new way to clap it. I'm clapping on like every other triplet. And who are you to tell me that's not the correct pulse because you don't feel that pulse? It could be my own pulse, and that pulse could be correct based on whatever I feel like it, because music is a completely subjective thing. It's not objective like that. Even when it comes to specific principles like BPM, it's still subjective. But I don't know why I'm getting so riled up.
So if we take a genre of music like footwork, for example, which regularly reaches 160 beats per minute, you could feel it at the slower 80 BPM, which
I felt it slower.
Range. Now, footwork is this fast and exciting form of hip-hop dancing and music from Chicago, and because of the fancy footwork, it at least bears a passing resemblance to Caucasian dances like the Lezginka. So in theory, footwork should be totally fine. It is a fast dance music that can be felt in halftime that fits within this tempo range. But of course,
is it also banned?
It probably won't be. Because in fact, the spirit of this law is a reactionary one. We must bring to the people and to the future of our children the cultural heritage of the Chechen people. This includes the entire spectrum of moral and ethical standards of life for Chechens. Now, this idea of regulating music based on specific musical characteristics for the good of the people feels downright Platonic. Gracelessness, bad rhythm, and disharmony are akin to bad words and bad character. Now, Plato believed that music has real power over us, and people who play music wield power over others. And so it is the job of laws to control that power and make sure that power is only used for good. It turns out to be possible for melodies with a natural correctness about them to be given a firm basis in law. If you could somehow grasp what it was that made them correct, you ought then to have no hesitation into reducing them to law and system. So if you know music theory, if you know what makes music good, you can make a better society. This seems to be what the Chechnyan Cultural Ministry has tried to do. Grasp what makes the Lezginka good and then legislate around it.
I kind of got to think about that one. Because I feel like they are trying to grasp what makes music good, but they're not doing it well, you know? That's the problem. They're just not doing it well, because they did it in a way where you're able to have so many exceptions and have so many workarounds for that concept that it just doesn't even make sense for them to try to create a law like that. It just doesn't. It's not sensible. It's not reasonable. I mean, maybe you should just ban certain genres of music. Like if you wanted your cultural heritage to show, you just allow that music and you just don't allow anything else. But the BPM quality of it, it's just kind of ridiculous, because you can do that for like anything else. Hey, you can only listen to songs in these 4 keys, you know, C sharp major, F sharp minor, G flat major, and C major. Yeah. How many different songs is that? Even if your culture is founded in music that is of that quality of keys, there's still other music that also has the same thing. So is that really a law, or is it just an excuse for you to exclude other things, exclude other cultures, exclude other music? So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Am I making sense? Because this isn't. It really isn't.
Halftime pulse of a fast Chechen dance will fall within this tempo range, but foreign music, which I guess might make people bad, like techno, house, and most forms of pop music, does not fall within the spectrum. The problem for the reactionary government being that footwork technically does. Now, Chechnya is not the only place to try and grasp what makes music good and then put it into law. In the 1920s, panic around the moral degeneracy of jazz music led to state and city ordinances attempting to ban it on technical grounds. For example, in Iowa, jazz music was strictly prohibited, and dances must occur at acceptable tempos, much like Chechnya today. To combat rave culture in the 1990s, the UK passed the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act of 1994, banning public gatherings of amplified music with, quote, sounds wholly or predominantly characterized by the emission of a succession of repetitive beats. In protest, Autechre released the EP Anti, with tracks written to be non-repeating, recommending that DJs, quote, have a lawyer and musicologist present at all times to confirm the non-repetitive nature of the music in the event of police harassment. By the way, the best of my research abilities, I'm pretty sure this law still is on the books in the UK. It's still technically illegal for crowds of people to gather and listen to music with repetitive beats in the UK. So careful out there, guys. Make sure you have musicologists present at all times, I guess. So all this to say is that music theory can and has been used as a tool of government control over musical expression, usually controlling dancing, like raving or jazz music, for example. So in one way, I kind of sympathize with this idea of trying to support Chechnyan music, because this stuff, man, like it goes hard.
It does though. It does though.
That's fun, man. I know it's silly party dance music, and I know there's more options out there. I've included a link to Chechen music in the description if you want to check out some more. But in reality, in my experience, if you want musicians to play a music and support it, pay them. The best way to motivate anybody is to pay them, and the best way to motivate somebody to spend their life doing something is to know that there is a future in it. You want to fund state education that promotes traditional Chechnyan music and teaches people how to play Chechnyan music. And then you want to provide funding for concerts which are there to promote Chechnyan music. So musicians know that if they want to study music, they'll have work waiting for them on the other side. Education and arts funding. That's how you promote music. Because if you just focus on banning music that you don't want, people will still play it anyway, and they'll find ways around it. For example, there is a foreign dance music that's very popular that's not techno and house music that you might find yourself having to contend with very soon. Oh, Daddy Yankee!
This is the question that I've been asking, like, whose job is it going to be in the Chechnyan government to sit there with like their phone and a metronome app and tap along to songs and figure out if this is okay?
Are we at that point where we can measure beat perception in the brain with EEGs or anything like that?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. Yeah, we can kind of see like the oscillations that are in.
But imagine that. Imagine going through all that effort. You're listening to something they think is too fast, so they take you into the lab, they put the thing to your brain, they play the music again, and they see how your brain waves oscillate in order to decide whether you get the death penalty or you get to walk free. Think about that. Like, isn't that insane? Think about it. Like, really think about it. And then, like, wouldn't it just be less expensive to actually create music education and not ban the music, but support your own music and not ban the other music, rather than hiring people in order to enforce the dumb laws that have so many exceptions? There's just so many better ways to go about this that it just doesn't even make like half of a single sense.
Training to a particular pulse if we're hearing it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, are we then going to have to hook up the Chechnyan minister with oscillators to figure out what pulse his brain is in training to?
This is clearly a high priority for everybody to do. I don't know, maybe.
That was a video. And I enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed watching it too. If you did, tell me what musical concept you would like to ban. For me, I think songs should they shouldn't use C# major. Some songs should just only use sharps, no flats. And others should only use flats and no sharps. They shouldn't be combined. Segregation. Yeah, tell me what you would ban. I feel like some of you would ban syncopation. Stay on the beat. Stay on the beat. We don't want any of that funky stuff. No. Triplets? Ew, stinky. Only subdivide in 2. 1 and 2 and we don't play on the and. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Every instrument too. Yep. Let's ban chords with more than 4 notes. Why do you need a 7 and a 9 and an 11 and a 13? It's unnecessary, guys. Okay, this is a really long video for no reason. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. So hit the like button, subscribe, give me suggestions on what to watch next, because Lord knows I need it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and